So I watched Jason Whitlock, and he was talking about Stephen A. today, because Stephen A. went on Cam Newton's 4th and 1, and basically had to emasculate Cam Newton and the partner he does it with, the Omar Peggy Collins, and just talk down to them the whole time. Like at one point, he told Peggy, "Get over here so I can see you," and it's like, who do you think you are? And Stephen A kept talking about facts. He deals in facts, but every person that they no longer work with Stephen A has talked about that he comes up with no takes. He really doesn't have facts. He just goes off what that other person says, yells, screams, and basically makes a caricature of himself, of an angry man that just gets loud and yells over people, and he won. And he talks about facts, like as far as Jason Whitlock saying he has a 6-inch screw in his knee, which that's really easy to, like, can't you just get an X-ray and show? Even with AI, you can get an X-ray and put it in there. I mean, but he has no proof that he did these things. So isn't it, like, shouldn't it be on him to prove that he did do these things versus Jason to say you didn't? When, I mean, a 6-inch screw in your knee is pretty obvious. It's easy to prove that. You could have surgery, like, whatever. But Stephen A was, like I said, was talking about facts, and then he says that he has to stand up to Jason because Jason went to all the bosses trying to get people fired, trying to get him in trouble, and he talks about facts, and then he has all these papers and this proof. And generally when people talk about how much proof they have, you just release the proof and make that other person look stupid, especially with social media and everything. And he has his own podcast, and it would be really easy to release everything, but doesn't. And like I was saying, like, he emasculated those two men. Like, what the heck? Does he not understand? Cam Newton could have stood up and broken Stephen A in half without even trying. Like, whoopsie, Stephen's in two. Like, that's what he could have done. And Stephen A was talking so tough and being so disrespectful. And I think because our society is so soft, and like people like that never have to deal with violence, or rarely, to where they feel that they can just say anything because there is no chance of Cam Newton getting up and punching him in the face. If Stephen A thought that was a possibility, he would not be talking so tough. I put money on it. And there's a really easy way to tell when someone's being disrespectful to you. When they say, "Oh, nothing but respect. Oh, I respect you so much." More than likely there was disrespect before and or after. Because that's what he was doing to Cam. Like, just disrespectful. Like, Cam Newton looked uncomfortable. And to be fair, I didn't watch it all because how could I? Watching Stephen A bloviate constantly. How could you like? How could you watch all that? Like, he probably bloviated for hours. And like the part, like Cam Newton said, "Yes, sir," and okay, and just sitting there smoking a cigar, or however you hold a cigar. And he looked uncomfortable the whole time, and I don't understand why these athletes don't call Stephen A out, because they've called out other guys for not playing the sport, so you don't know what you're talking about. Stephen A never. He played what they or he claims he played one game in college. So that's all you need to do is play one game in college, and then you can talk about professionals. But then that person that only played in high school, no, you're not good enough. Or you only played in middle school, you're not good enough. Or you never played at all and you just studied. I I don't understand why people have not said that about Stephen A. I don't I don't get it. I don't understand how that's not a big point when they're debating him, like it is with other people. I just it's sad that this is the world we live in. That people can talk tough like that and be so disrespectful to someone and they just sit there and take it because they want to get paid. Because that's what this all is all about. Cam Newton wants to make money. So he's willing to sit there and get disrespected by this piece of shit. That's what he keeps calling Jason Whitlock. I'm, I'm not saying Jason Whitlock's the greatest guy. No, he has issues like we all do. But Stephen A is a pathological liar. I think that's pretty much confirmed. I don't think anyone can deny that because of he'll say one thing and then someone will get upset and then he'll take it back and then say something else and he's like so wishy-washy. That's lying. You're a pathological liar if you just say something and then take it back immediately and then say how great that person is when you just said how bad they were. And the stuff he said about LeBron and why he didn't like him, and then all of a sudden why he really doesn't like him, you're a liar. Why didn't you say that in the beginning? Why you didn't like LeBron? But this is the world we live in. It's sad. And it's only going to get worse, unfortunately, because people watch. And you're like, oh, Kevin, you watch. No, no, I watch Jason's show, and he showed clips and just uncomfortable. Like, that's what it was. Like, every single part. And so it's probably 10, 15 minutes of it that I watched from clips. And it was just uncomfortable. He's just so unaware of himself. I guess that's the best way to describe Stephen A. He is so unaware of his own self. And he believes what somebody has told him, or he's told himself. Because I think people are the biggest liars to themselves. They don't lie to others as much as they lie to themselves. That's just from watching the world and being the age I am, and I'm getting pretty old, and watching people. I've seen them lie to themselves constantly about like really serious stuff and then little stupid stuff and I guess that's a part of the culture we live in, that you can't take responsibility for your own actions, so you lie to yourself and why you did something so you don't have to change, and the victim attitude. And shocking, social media is at the core of it. That's weird.